Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Microsoft CEO, Steva Ballmera.
Well, thanks and good afternoon. The last year has certainly seen a lot of change for our industry. It's clear today that the mobile industry is moving from a device battle to a platform battle. Internet Explorer 9 takes advantage not only of the web, but of all the hardware in the PC, like the graphics processor, to increase the performance and really deliver the beauty of the web through the power of HTML5. Well, today I want you to understand that later this year, we're going to release a version of Internet Explorer 9 complete with hardware and graphics and other hardware acceleration to the Windows Phone. This year, 2011, we will bring into these hubs Twitter integration right into the People Hub. So if you like the kind of integration we've done with Facebook, I think you're going to love the way we bring Twitter fully and integrated into the hub's experience on the Windows Phone. To give you a little bit better idea of how smart design and hubs do deliver a truly differentiated and integrated experience, I'm going to invite Joe Belfiore to come on stage to show you Windows Phone, and Joe has the pleasure of being able to preview a handful of features that will be available in the significant release that we'll do later this year. Joe Belfiore. Thank you.
It's good to be back at Mobile World Congress again this year, and it's my distinct pleasure to take you all through a demo of some of the announcements that Steve talked about in real code. The core browsing engine of IE9 that ships on PCs is the same core browsing engine that will ship on phones. And that's great news for consumers, because it means they'll get a great smooth experience like you see on Fish.ie here. It's also great news for developers, because it means when website developers create a site, if it works well on the PC, it'll work well on Windows Phone as well. And I want to give you a little bit of a comparative example. This is the Fish.ie page. Same page you saw in the video on the desktop, except modified for a phone screen. Other than that, same idea. This is running 50 Fish. And I want to show you how much this hardware acceleration really matters. I'm going to pull this down, and by way of comparison, I've got an iPhone 4 here running the current build of Safari. And the Safari web browser is not taking advantage of hardware acceleration, so you really get a sense for how dramatic the difference is. This year, in 2011, we'll make this update available for all Windows Phone 7 users, who will then get added support for multitasking of third-party apps. Today, Windows Phone 7 multitasks our own first-party code, but generally we don't multitask third-party apps because we want to make sure the user has a very predictable, long life in their battery. When apps run in the background, if you're not careful about how you architect it, they can often spin and use the CPU and other resources so the battery is drained. What we're going to ship is a multitasking approach that we think does the right balance of protecting the user's battery while letting multitasking happen. So I'm going to start out this demo by running an app. The app that I'm going to run is called Rise of Glory. It's an Xbox Live game that's now available on the marketplace. If you have a Windows Phone, you can try this yourself. It's pretty fun. This is a World War I fighter plane simulation. And once the game launches, I'm going to play the part of the Red Baron flying my triplane over Europe while I'm being attacked by other fighters. So the game is loaded, I'll touch the screen, and here we go. So you can see, let me turn the volume up here, let's see if we can get some audio. There we go. I am flying my plane around. And today, if I were playing this game with Windows Phone 7, if I wanted to make a phone call or send a text, if I navigate away from the game, we essentially put it into a deep hibernation, which takes a few seconds to resume. So I'm going to do the same thing now. Let's assume I wanted to make a phone call. I press the start button, I'll navigate around, I'll do my thing, make my phone call, now I want to go back to the game. We have a convenient back button. Today, if I were to do that on Windows Phone 7, for third-party apps, it might take 4 seconds, For a game, sometimes a little longer, maybe even up to as much as 10 seconds. But with multitasking, the user gets an instant return to the game. So here I go. I'm going to push the back button. Back. There's our animation. Boom, we're in the game, and it pauses for me so I can press the continue button. Very, very fast. Effectively instant. So I'm going to do it again. I'll press start. We navigate away. I can go do something else on the phone. I can run other apps, whatever I want. When I push it back to come back to that app, voila, I can press continue, and I'm flying my plane again. So that's the first scenario, making it really, really fast and easy. I should fly there, to come back to apps. Now second, because we have that, it suddenly becomes a lot more interesting for users to have a mechanism to switch between apps they've been running recently. So we're adding a new user interface element later this year, which lets people have a task switching view from their back button. You can press back, back, back to go to apps you've been running, or you can press and hold back, which is what I just did, and we'll present a view of all the applications that you've been running recently. So you can see here, we set this phone up before the demo. I ran email, I ran Fruit Ninja, I ran Groupon on the phone. And I want to give you an example now. When you put these things together, I can switch between games incredibly fast.
Stephen.
Thank you and good afternoon. It's truly a pleasure to address you here today at a moment that we think is pretty significant in how we see the evolution of the mobile industry evolve. You've heard me talk about in a number of forums that the world is shifting from a battle of devices to a war of ecosystems.
2011 is shaping up, I think, to be a very fast-paced year, but it should be a great year. It should be a great year for our company, for our industry, and for the development, much more broadly, of intelligent mobile devices and the value that they add to society. I thank you for the chance to speak with you today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Mobile World Congress.